guys, welcome. We're down at the shop today. I know you guys like the truck content more, it seems like, so let's do some truck content. 98. We got to do some we got to throw some gauges at it. My 04 is back up running. Just got it the front end aligned. I replaced everything on the front. It just clicked over 334,000 miles, so I can't blame the front end for being a little sloppy. It actually had a real bad squeak, something I don't know what it was, even though everything was greased. Something squeaked. Redid the whole front end. Man, that added up quick. But zero fuel plate is a decent amount of power increase on your pretty much a stock truck. It just got intake exhaust, EGR delete on a 98 California truck. But towing up into the cabin last weekend, I just had a couple dirt bikes and the side by. Not a heavy load by any means. The engine temp seemed a little warmer than normal. But I'm always worried about EGT, so it's nice and simple to install some gauges, and I'm going to just run through real quick, show you guys how I'll do it. Took the intake horn off because I'm going to drill and tap into that sucker, and a lot of people don't like putting the EGT probe after the turbo. So this is my homemade block-off plate for my EGR stuff. So I'm going to drill and tap and put the EGT gauge probe right there. Unfortunately, the tap that I had was not an 1/8 inch pipe. It was just an 1/8 inch tap. So I went to the hardware store real quick, and that's the only one that I could get, as I bought this whole kit. Kind of sucks because this was $100, and then I bought some good drill bits so that I won't have any worry. I'm going to hide this stuff from everybody else that comes and uses the shop. So let's get this done. I got some other stuff to talk about. Okay, so you pull out good old Google. Pretty much everything pertaining to your, well, both sides, your boost tap in and your EGT probe are going to be 1/8 inch pipe thread. MPT, 27 thread count. MPT is national pipe thread. So you bust out old Google, find out that you want a 21/64 drill bit size. So we want that one here. That's why I bought the fancy kit. Little guy to get her started. Get a nice spot for this to go in. If it ever gets a little tight, just back her up a little bit. I blew it out and everything with the air hose scraped off. Like I said, it was an EGR truck, so it had quite a bit of gunk in there already. She's good to go. Put it on the back side of the housing so you can't see it, and it's cleaner to look. Nothing really in your way that way. I'm not adding Teflon on this side because this side should get hot. Okay, let's talk about these gauges I got. Because people are going to be like, oh, where'd you get those? Got them boys right there. Why? Because they're cheap. I've had, they're on this truck. I have 3 on this truck. I have boost pyro and fuel pressure. Common rails is pretty important to make sure you got fuel pressure. Well, any of them's pretty important, especially VPs. But for this truck, it's a mechanical lift pump. I'm not too worried about it dying. Those things are pretty much bulletproof. So all I have is EGT, exhaust temp, if you didn't know, and my boost. I've only had one gauge fail, and that was the boost gauge. And the gauge still worked, but the backlighting failed on it. So I replaced that. It's like $50. Not the end of the world. It lasted quite a few years. And I got this kit because it's got the spot for a little speaker. So we got to thread the needle, get all this stuff tucked away up underneath there, run the lines and the EGT probe and all that stuff. Let's get that installed. Stick it back in. Hopefully I got this thing centered good. Double checker here. On there. Sort of. Gotta put some spacers on there. Homemade stuff, you dig? What are you doing? What are you doing? Oh, just playing with the truck. I didn't even hear you pull in. You're in the stealth mobile?
I'm in the stealth.
You didn't go down with him this trip?
No, I think you guys want to go.
Gosh dang. Missing out on all the fun. I think I killed more flies in the house last night with that salt gun than they killed pigs. What are you up to? Okay, this is ridiculous. This is how much they give you. I'm going to cut most of all these down. And then they split them on the ends so you can go to each gauge. You don't even need to do that. I'm just going to go single, big guy, and hook both the gauges up to one line. Simple. It's overkill. Little trick of the trade right here for you guys. Trying to get these wires to go through, it's a bit of a pain. So you get one, tie the rest of them about halfway up it. That way this one's still down here and you don't end up pulling your lane wire through. Boom, boom. Those wires to go through there because it never works out perfect every time. And it's frustrating. But that worked. So we got our wires up. I don't think that the ground one needs to be quite as long as they have it because I'm just going to ground right down there. Then you have ignition, constant, and then headlight. I believe that's what it is. Got all my wires and my boost line, probe line hooked up, and power. I just got to get this thing up there. Come on, babe, give me a little bit of slack. Need to hook back up my speaker. Doesn't want to go in its home. That's as far into its home as it's gonna go. Having pillar gauge in a truck, you're not used to it. Thing eats up a lot of space. Earlier, as far as the colors, orange goes to your headlights. That just dims them. And then red is key on ignition, and then yellow is your constant. So I'm gonna tie into the fuse box right here for those other ones and the switch. And then I gotta run this one back through the firewall. Cool. Now we'll come up here. Be very careful. This braided line. And don't touch it to the battery and anything else. Kind of wish this side was plastic, but whatever. We'll figure it out. Let's tuck this bad boy up there. What the hell? Quick together, you. There we go. Add this up in there somewhere. Plenty of that. I don't want to cut it too short in case something happens later on and I cut it or break it, so. She's all installed. Double check my work and then we'll hop up, take her for a rip and see what the actual temps this thing's doing is. I don't know if I showed you guys this or not. I thought I'd try to film it in one clip, but I'm gonna work on these later today. Got the bracketry all done up. for retrofitting these 4th gen Laramie seats. These are out of a 2017, 20 years newer than the pickup. So it's just a little difficult. You know, you're pretty much designing it as you go. I gotta figure out the wiring on this one, and I can slap it in there. But one more thing I gotta do for this is I gotta drill a hole to hold the pillar gauge up there. Okay, right there. You know what? It's cleaning stuff up. Did I grab it? I don't know if I did. This is how you lose these things right here. You ready for this? 10 millimeter. Put you back in your home. Come on, get on there. Okay. Wrapping up shop here. Gonna go take her for a test drive and then come back down in here and, well, I'm not really wrapping up shop. We're just gonna go test this and come back down in the shop. Probably get a bite to eat. But one thing, I get a lot of people sending me questions, emailing me or just DM stuff, asking me, you know, they'll send me like a link that makes it easier on me to determine if the truck they want to look at is gonna be very good. And a couple things I look for right off the bat. So obviously look for blow by. 12 valves, it's very rare to find one that has not been turned up. Being this day and age, unless you find just a weird beat up grandpa truck, like my old green one, that thing wasn't turned up, but it had many other problems. Turning up a 12 valve is not the end of the world. Putting some like governor springs on it so that it can rev a little higher, still not the end of the world. But best bet, and you hop in the truck, you can feel how much power it's delivering. With an automatic, I would worry a little bit, obviously, with the transmission. But when it comes to if they've tuned it up, if they just put a fuel plate, the EGTs are definitely a number that you want to be concerned with. With an automatic, there's quite a bit more load that goes on to the engine, and the EGTs climb quite a bit higher because they're just working through a torque converter rather than just direct, and it gets up and goes on with its life, like a stick shift does. But that's one thing I look out for, is if you're buying a tuned up truck, turned up, if they got gauges on it, chances are the old boy was probably mindful of the temperatures that those gauges are reading. And for putting a 0 in there, I know it's not extreme power, but it's got enough that I want to keep tabs on it. And there's nothing wrong with keeping tabs on your property and making sure it's not gonna blow up or melt the piston. So I believe we're all good. So do one more last walk around because I almost left that step on the side there. We'll come back and work on Grandma's truck. I repositioned my brake controller unit because it used to be over here on my left side, and every time I push in the clutch, it'd rub on my shin and it started to hurt, so I put it right here, and I believe it'd be good to go right there. Hopefully it got plugged back in. Oh, what the hell's it hitting? Hang on, false alarm. We're hitting something with the clutch. I was hitting the brake controller plug-in. Oh yeah, we got a little smoke now. Alright. I have these gauges set up so that they're always dim because I turn on my headlights no matter what when I drive. I always turn it on, so they're always dim. Just one last thing. And you can change the color on them. I favor blue, that's all the rest of them I got, so I'm gonna leave it like that. Let's go try her, see if she works good, see what my EGTs are actually getting to. For good reference, your EGTs, if you're driving empty, unless you're hot rodding your truck and she's turned up, you're not gonna see much. Like right now, I'm at 600 EGTs, and we're gonna have to do something about that wastegate because it is cutting my PSI right about 28 at tops. Yeah. So, we gotta do something about that because we want a little bit more boost. It can handle more, I know it can. All 96, that thing was a pulling son of a gun. This one doesn't quite have enough in it to like build up and flutter the turbo. Almost. But she's not even hitting 30 psi. This turbo, stock turbo, they can do it. Go 35 all day. Those EGTs don't climb at all with this thing. 800 wide open throttle. Yeah, I had nothing to be worried about, but it's nice to have a reference right there saying how much your rig's running at, because you forget about it, you're bogging. Not saying you can hurt it right off the bat, but you can hurt it, and I'm always worried about hurting my stuff. Let's go to second gear instead of fourth. Driving my 04 around this morning, then I get in this thing, feel like I'm driving a little go-kart. This thing's tiny compared to that third gen. Yeah, we're gonna need some boost. It just falls flat on its face. We got no boost. Oh, dude, we got no boost. Yeah, cuts are right at 28 psi. Gosh dang. I had a Banks wastegate on my 96. Oh, she'd let you have the boost. She'd let you have her. I still prefer to have a gate rather than somebody saying delete the gate. We ain't gonna do that. Good stuff. Alright, well, there's your guys' episode for the day. Would you like to see a little smoke, Boone? Would you? Would you? She does alright. Continue this video with what my Saturday evening played out as. The driver's seat, fully functional as far as moving. Up, down, forward, back, tilting them back, all that stuff. Ready to go in the truck. I just finished up welding. Again, this is some very tedious, monotonous, annoying stuff. Trying to just basically redesign this whole son of a gun so that those seats will fit in here. The passenger seat on Let It Ride is going to be about 2 inches high, but this one over here has the up and down function, so it fits just perfect, and I put it exactly where I want. But I'm having difficulty trying to figure out the wiring on the passenger seat. But all said and done, we'll have 4th gen seats in here looking good. I got the brackets that are done up and all welded and everything, thrown in the back of my truck so I can drop them off. Well, I'm not dropping them off, but stop at Dad's house in the morning after I move the skidder with the low boy and take him to his house, bead blast him. Look at Boone chilling on the quad waiting for me to go to the house. It's after 9. That's where we're at right now. Just a lot of little stuff. This switching these seats to put these 4th gens in here set me back like a couple of days if I just had pure time to work on it, trying to learn how everything works. So I think it'll be worth it in the end, but man, it is a son of a gun. Everything else got put on hold. So these seats, because I'm doing welding inside the cab here, you can see stuff right here. I'm not about to, you know, put anything else back in here until I have these things ready to bolt in, and I think we're right there. Just leave some wiring in there, and all we need is that son of a gun, and I can take care of the rest. Whew. Good night though, guys. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Later on, see you.